Hey, healers, it's Sarah, and I'd say welcome back, but I record this with such a heavy heart. So let's get into it. This is UnQuiet Healing, and I guess UnQuiet Healing means sometimes you deal with things in real time, and it is September 10th, 2025. 3:51 p.m. is when I started recording this. Charlie Kirk has been pronounced dead. He was doing what he was known for, sitting on a campus in Utah, having these debates, these conversations that, I mean, he wouldn't be popular if people didn't want to have these conversations or hear what he had to say. He was at his rally and was shot, and he was murdered. Charlie Kirk had a way of speaking his mind without being disrespectful. Nowadays, it's really hard to have a conservative view, a conservative voice. If you're pro-life, you're automatically, you hate women. If you don't agree with the transgender movement or children transitioning into a different gender, you automatically are hateful, a bigot. See, it's difficult to be conservative these days. He was also very Christian, very conservative views in his faith, in his religion, and how he thought life should be lived. Charlie Kirk was a husband. He was a father, 2 children. And now, because he stood up and spoke the unpopular opinion, he's been murdered. And my heart aches. My heart aches for a nation that has been needing these conversations for quite some time. My heart aches for his family, to his wife, his children. Of course, I cannot imagine the fear his wife has lived with and the devastation seeing this play out. You see, we lost someone that kind of walked like Jesus did, if you think about it. Kind of walked like one of the saints, speaking up when everyone told you to shut up, and stood up on your moral ground, stood firm, voiced his opinion. Not only did he say what he believed, but he lived what he believed. He did all these things in a day and age where it's not popular to be modest or show prudence. It's not popular to live like that these days. People don't want to step up to his microphone and challenge him because he would break things down in such a way, with logic, with facts, with statistics. He would speak from facts and from morals. And the morals that he spoke from was, in a lot of ways, what America was rooted in. Like, if you look back at the nuclear family in the 50s and what the American dream has been well before the 50s, I mean, it's having that family, having the freedom to pick the religion that you want to practice, choose the job you want to choose, to pursue abundance and fortune in a capitalist nation. See, Charlie lived all of those things. He lived them out loud, without apology, and with a genuine care that he's concerned with the trajectory in which the American family is heading, or America's youth is heading, or men, or how American men are leading their families. There's so many levels of his concern for the way people live their lives today. When I see my daughter being so affected by the death of Charlie Kirk. And, her and I had tickets to go see him just next week in Fort Collins, Colorado, not far from where I live. We were excited to go and to support his voice and maybe ask him some questions and maybe say thanks for saying some of the things that we wish we could say on a public platform. We won't get that chance. We won't get that chance to go and to exercise our American right to spread our voice with this person that chooses to speak publicly on what he believes. What a shame. And what a shame for people that opposed his views, right? Anybody could step up to his microphone and challenge what he had to say. And I've seen people step up to his microphone and say pretty horrific, nasty, disgusting things towards him. And he would just sit there and either use logic or not speak at all. See, he wasn't about the argument. He wasn't about the debate. He was about an open and curious dialogue. And that's something that we lack today. You see these political debates nowadays where people are just telling their stories through emotion, not stating facts, statistics, and not going back to just morals, human decency, even just common sense. You see, Charlie Kirk couldn't have been Charlie Kirk without those that opposed him, right? Otherwise, he's just a guy doing a speech. No, he invited these conversations. He lived so bold, so brave, so strong that he invited conversations from people that hated him, that disagreed with him, that labeled him and called him horrible things, a racist, a white supremacist, anti-women. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's just like, and he would invite these people to step up to his mic on his platform with his following and say, bring it on. I'm here for a conversation. Regardless of what that means, I'm ready to have it. My daughter is so upset by this because her generation is really plagued by over-sexualization. Her generation is where a lot of things started to shift. Social media became rampant. The YouTube influencers and videos and things like that really happened in her generation. I mean, her generation was the one being influenced. And Charlie Kirk was somebody that stepped up and gave a voice to the younger generation that was conservative, that was Christian, that was like, I strive to have a family and to protect life and, to stand on my morals regardless of what the world is telling me, to stand on logic, to stand on facts. In a world full of TikTok dances and Planned Parenthoods on every corner of every college campus, the generation was looking for a Charlie Kirk. And now he is passed. And with that, I say, I just have this feeling he's up there smiling at us, and we all know his smile. You can picture it right now, right? I just picture him up there smiling, saying, we haven't even started yet. We haven't even started yet. This is just beginning. Because see, now all the people that didn't ever watch Charlie Kirk, or like my mom who's not on Facebook, like not using social media. So she's not seeing all these political debates that we see all the time. Well, now she knows who he is, which means his audience grew in his death. His voice got louder in his death. May his death spread his voice like wildfire. In his death, I believe Charlie would have faith through and through. I believe he would know that his death has meaning. And I vote sainthood for Charlie. Now that my calendar is showing my Charlie Kirk debate date on it, marked, excited, ready to go, and he's not here, I feel a calling to move, to have a prayer vigil, to have a rosary walk, to have a rally, to spread his voice like wildfire. And I'm sure his voice will spread. We will be on the streets where we were planning on seeing him debate. We will pray, say his name out loud. I hope you all hug each other a little bit tighter tonight. And I hope you all take time to respect the opposing view that's near you. I mean, is it a family member? I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, oh, ever since Trump was elected, my sister won't talk to me. Or ever since Biden was in office, we can't even sit down at the dinner table. What a shame. Why are we not approaching each other with curiosity? Why don't we walk a little more like Charlie? Even if you disagreed with him, one thing we can all agree on is he stayed respectful and stood on his morals, and he never wavered. And that, I think we can all respect. Until next time, this is UnQuiet Healing, and I'm Sarah. Thank you for being here.